Welcome to the Beyond Bitcoin Whaletank. Be sure to follow the Beyond Bitcoin tag on Steemit, as well as our Hangout host Official Fuzzy for the latest Whaletank updates. To participate in the discussion, simply find the weekly Whaletank RSVP post and RSVP with a topic or proposal in the comments. Whale shares create synergy between BitShares and Steem by rewarding developers and helpful community members. The Whaletank has already distributed over $70,000 in upvotes during its first month. You can also create and trade your own cryptographically secure whale tokens and get an automatic seat in the Whale Council. Whale shares work for the chain based on votes by the community. If you're interested in becoming a founding member of the Whale Council, let us know by sending an email to beyondbitcoin@gmail.com with the subject Whale Council. Be on the lookout for our new forums coming soon.
Welcome everyone to Whaletank Hangout number 227. Today is Saturday, October 7th, 2017, and this is the Beyond Bitcoin Network. And we are joined today by a number of people who RSVP every week to have their projects covered on the Steemit platform. And the projects, we try to create synergy between the BitShares and Steem chains. Based on the upvotes in this Hangouts RSVP thread, you can establish your place in the order of precedence. So by sharing your post and RSVP post to others and having them upvote it, you can become first in the order of this Hangout. So with that said, there's some additional power-ups beyond just having a 15-minute slot and getting upvotes to make yourself first, second, or third in the pack. We have a little bit of a power-up bonus that we provide everybody who has their own token. We have one where if you have a token and you just list the BitShares exchange listing where your token resides, we will provide you with a double benefit to what you've been upvoted in terms of the order of precedence for this Hangout. Secondly, if you want to go over your 15-minute period, you can share drop on people who are at these Hangouts, who sign the guest list. Third is at the end of every week, we will choose a 1,000 Beyond Bit reward for people who have a token. One of the people who has a token here that is listed today will receive 1,000 Beyond Bits. Each Beyond Bit currently is around 40 cents. So, with this said, you can earn a decent bit of funding to help your project if you have a token in the BitShares ecosystem and you utilize the Steemit ecosystem to help advertise it. Now, with that said, at the end of every week, if I've chosen somebody and you believe that there's something that you think would be more valuable to the community, you're more than welcome to also leverage your tokens to try to benefit our community in a way that might change my mind before the end of the week when the tokens are sent out. Now, with that said, we have the established order of precedence today. Nutella, and he is going to be talking about the Whaletank transcription service. We will then move on to rideofpassion for the decentralized experience-based travel portal. We will move on to Bam 808, who will be talking about SKILLCoin and his other projects that will be associated with SKILLCoin. We will then follow that with Mr. Wang, who is going to be talking about the official Houston Steemit Meetup, after which will be Nick Nass of the Community Casino, followed by jringo, who's going to be talking about blockchain radio. And then finally, we will cap off this session with Acemail, and he is going to be talking about using Steemit to teach children about finance. So with that said, I'll go ahead and I'll ask Nutella if he is ready to present his weekly report and what he's doing.
How do I start? I think I became lucky because out of the blue, Chucky Fucky presented himself and that he wanted to do the translations. Or actually, he wanted to translate some of my posts. He's here, so that was great news. So because doing the transcripts is quite a lot of work, because you have to edit, even though the automatic captions from YouTube are 95% correct, and they'll still be pretty accurate. But then again, they will fill their void by saying a lot of and and you get the feeling. So it becomes like a pretty long whining to listen to them. And if you can read along, then you can maybe skip or stay engaged, right? So with the translations, which is a great addition, I see that we can actually disassemble hard to get products like BitShares and other projects. If you have it in text, you can quote it. You can ask direct questions. And if you then can engage and also see people who are speaking, you can like link them from the audio to Steemit, and you can have links in the subtitles as well to the projects and stuff like that. So shout out to Alex Morris for doing actually a tool to merge the subtitles, because I'm recording all the tracks separately with the multi-channel option here in Mumble. And what it does is that I can recognize each speaker individually, and if there might be like noise in the future, somebody talking over each other, then you can edit that. I'm not doing that at the moment, but it's very quick to batch upload it to YouTube, and it will make separate videos, like a shell script to make videos out of it, which is just a very quick way of doing stuff. Although I might want to have this maybe as a feature on a server that people can just upload the tracks. But for now, I'm just going to do it for people because it's like too complicated for them, I think, even though I publish the code on all the posts, or virtually all the posts. What we need help with is people who want to join. And the idea is because it's so a lot of work, we need extra support. If people are going to help us, then they need to I think fairly earn also some tokens and also some real money, because you're really, I did the BitShares Hangout 2 days ago, Thursday, and it really literally worked the whole day on it and then some. So it's a lot of work. So I envision that I already made a coin, and I have a vision that it's like a company on a blockchain where people can can sign up and do some work, and they get to know a project by actually transcribing it or translating it. Then they can actually become ambassadors for this project, because by learning, by translating and transcribing, you learn a lot, and then you can become like an endpoint for people to ask questions. You also distribute it for your own community, the information from the project. So we think it's fair to say that if projects who are winning or who are winning 1,000 Beyond Bits, that they should think about reaching maybe a wider audience. A perfect example is BitSpark, because BitSpark is working on remittance. A lot of Filipinos could use BitSpark, and thus it would be very nice to have people translate to Philippines or whatever their language is exactly. Sorry to say it this way, but I really don't know. So I hope with this that we'll reach more people by having translations done this way, and that they also become in the end ambassadors. So we'd like to reward them with some coins, which may be worth something in the future if this would get really big, because I believe in a thing called Steam jobs, because fighting for upvotes on blogs is, you can do it this way, but really contributing to the platform is maybe even better. I mean, Steemit is pretty centralized in my opinion, and I really like the approach we are doing here in the Whaletank. And I was really hoping that people could also maybe build websites and all the apps into one system, because now it's really scattered all around. And yeah, with support for these projects by transcribing, it's the first step to connect to people. And then we can go on maybe to explain I'm 5 and grow this idea of because these crypto projects are quite difficult to understand. I mean, my first time trying to connect here on the Whaletank and creating a coin was not easy, and it became with a little bit of stress, which it's not bad, and it filters out people, who want to just gain a quick buck. But on the other hand, if they want to really use it, I mean, I always hear people, I use Bittrex or I use this and this service, and I never hear them using, I use BitShares. No, it's always something else. So, and I like BitShares a lot. So I think I will, for myself, tackle the complicated projects, and I will let others get acquainted with easier projects, so that they don't have a hard time. Because I also believe in not doing the same work all over again, so that you can grow, decentralized company, I could say. So we need help with the coin idea. So Our idea is to like split the revenues with the translators. Chucky Fucky found a way to do that. I'm not sure what it's called. If you're here, can you maybe chime in and tell something about how you found this revenue splitting thing?
Can you guys hear me correctly?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So the basic idea for the translations is, well, I don't know if you guys have used Steam Whales before. Steam Whales has, like, it lets you split authors or like rewards with a co-author. So the basic idea would be for the translations to be split up amongst the creator of the content, because it is their hard work being done, and as well as the translator. The translator would get a cut, let's say a percentage of the post rewards, and that way translator and the author would both be happy and would both get benefits from working on this. The other issue that came to my mind was that sometimes you translate some content that would not get a lot of upvotes or would not get enough payout to compensate the amount of work being done by the translator and the transcribers as well. So we need to find a way to merge this and make it possible for everyone to come out with benefits for, you know, their hard work and time done.
Yeah, so I really see that people who are interested in our work want to get out there, their project bigger, like BitSpark or Topsol, that they make use of this translation service and transcribing service, because then they reach a lot more people. And also by winning like 1,000 Beyond Bits, they can give us a bit so that we can upload their posts. We can also give them of course, the output of our work, so they can use it on their own website. Also, they can do it afterward. But I think it's good to know that either way, we get like upvotes, or we use Beyond Bits to upload it, or they have to pay up a little bit more to make this thing viable in the future as well. So if you have any questions, please ask them now, and I or Chucky Fucky will be happy to answer them. And if you want to join, that would be great too.
Before I start into my tirade, does anybody have any questions?
It's not so much a question, but I will just say that I appreciate the service you're putting together a lot. Transcription is very useful for outreach, because a lot of people don't want to sit through and watch an entire video to get a paragraph worth of data. So if you just have a transcribed thing, you can say, hey, go to page, whatever, and do it. So I look forward to watching this develop.
Yeah, exactly. So what is also really cool is that you can have interactive transcriptions, which look like sentences, and they are being highlighted when it's being said, pronounced. You're hearing the current sentence, and but I think this cannot be done with Steam, because Steemit it's all static HTML. So, but we can always do it on a separate server.
Let me just chip in and say that we are currently working with Oppenheimer. He's on here as well. He's listening on translating to Spanish. We are the only two that are currently working. I did get a request on Discord for another person to join us for Filipino as well. So we'll be working on translating into Filipino as well.
Yeah, and I'm very glad that the Chucky Fucky is more the type to connect with people. I must admit I haven't been very active in that because it was so much work, and I'm actually also looking at the technical side a lot, because that had to be built first, because I don't expect people to learn that because it's quite if you're not familiar with it, it's not easy. So, but Alex Morris did a great job of making an actual oriented program instead of like some weird obscure shell scripts I use. And so at least it has helped a lot to create a beautiful transcript out of the subtitles, and so it's really worth it to have the tracks separated, so you can separate who said what, and who said what. It's of course possible to just use the traditional way. But why not do it nice? So if anybody has questions, please go ahead.
Well, I would say personally that I will definitely try to help where I can to make sure that all of the people who come to these hangouts, that they have their journey transcribed through you guys. So you can count on whatever support I can give. But I would definitely love to see you guys start thinking about how you might leverage your own token as well. And I can, of course, work with you guys on that here behind the scenes, but it might be a good idea to have your own token and try to offer your services in return for those tokens. because then you can kind of hand those tokens out to people who are doing cool things and people who are doing interesting things that, and who are active people who like to just do things. Eventually they're going to do something that can create synergy with you anyway. And if you're working with them, the tendency is that stuff will happen more and more. So I would urge you guys to consider how that might be leveraged too. But I will definitely support you guys and work with you guys and to the degree that I can, because like everybody's saying here, transcription and translation are...
Yeah, I just wanted to say something real quick, if I can. Okay, the idea is already here, but I'm not sure if it's like viable, but the idea was to give these tokens to people, or they can buy them, and then if people are doing work, then they can like return them and get paid, something like that. So maybe you have some tokens, but you can only use them for like uploading, or have like a share in the company, and have also a way of like saying like, hey, I bought some of your tokens. I would need to have this and this done, and we can schedule it. And it's like a sort of accounting, but like I said, I'm not very keen on all the possibilities yet. So I might have to read up something, or we'll connect with you, Fuzzy, and we'll figure out something out, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's cool to see that you guys are all doing these things, because I call these hangouts kind of like, for me, the good news of the week, because you have all this terrible stuff that's going on that news always covers, and we try to cover people doing things that are trying to bring value. We don't always have everybody who's seen that way, but we try. And you guys doing what you're doing, these are the things that are big, and they seem to some people, like I'm just translating, or I'm just doing this. No, that's very valuable, especially if you're persistent and continue doing it, and people know that you're able to do it, right? And just not giving up. So I appreciate all the work that you guys are doing. I also appreciate, thank you, Alex P. Morris. You're going to get the name Pimo because you help so many people. Power up, buddy, for P. Anyway. And thank you, Nutella, for bringing these people on board, Oppenheimer and Chucky. Those people are two very valuable community members, and it's good to see that they're stepping up and leveraging the language that the other languages they know to help bring this message a little bit further to another geographic region in the world, right? It's a big deal. So thank you.
Pleasure.
And I'll just say thank you also for everybody here who joins these Whaletank Hangouts. We try to leverage these tokens called BeyondBits to try to show people in the Steem ecosystem and elsewhere that we can create synergy between chains, and that we can leverage the ecosystems that exist to bring value to one another and show that in the marketplace. These are the types of ideas that I'm always looking for, is people to create their own value propositions, especially the ones that try to create synergy where possible. Thank you for supporting that as well. And that support always doesn't come in the form of money. It can be in the form of sharing this information and doing something that maybe you otherwise wouldn't, or helping somebody who you believe really bringing value, who's joined up here today, because you are the really key resource in this world, and everything else is a construct to make you forget that. So that's what we're trying to do here. We don't do it perfectly all the time, but I really appreciate the ride. And with that said, I appreciate Ride of Passion joining up to talk about the decentralized experience-based travel portal. I don't think that he's talking about traveling through exactly what I'm talking about in this context, but I'm sure that it's going to be an interesting update because I've been talking to him behind the scenes about some of the things he's doing. So, Ride of Passion, are you available to step up to the plate?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning, everyone, or good evening, everyone. I'm in the blockchain space from the past 4 months, and I'm that kind of a person who would want to leverage the benefits of a blockchain technology of the crypto space onto real world solutions. So I started Voice Shares around 2 months back, and that was on an emotional connect with a problem that the world is facing. We wanted to create a voice, and we have taken it to a certain extent where people are driving it now, and And there were two things that I always wanted to represent on Steemit. See, one thing is, Ride of Passion as someone who started voice shares or dealing with voice shares. I was basically an engineer who quit his job to travel. And I'm a professional travel blogger from the past 5 years who offer experience-based travel events. What does that mean? What does experience-based travel mean? See, what happens is the travel scenario right now in the world is changing to a very different extent. People would want to see the real culture rather than the destination specific. For example, if you're going to US and you want to just go to Niagara Falls and come, that was a destination specific, wherein people would be only interested in one particular destination. But no, these days travel industry is changing to a very large extent, wherein people are opting for a community-based or an experience-based travel. For example, you come to Himalayan mountains, there is one last left-out Aryan race, and people would want to go and learn about their culture, because once they are extinct, we may never get them back. So such is the kind of travel that people who are driving to, people are wanting to do these days. And I've been offering these travel events from the past 2 years right now professionally. And this is something that I want to bring to a decentralized space, because the way a traveler sees a world is very different from the way tourist sees the same world. So it's two different things, and you can never compare the way an actual traveler sees a particular destination to a way a tourist sees that. So we wanted to create a portal wherein we create a network of travelers and travel and the hospitality industries to create that experience-based traveler. In this, what we do is we invite travel bloggers or travelers, the actual professional travelers, people who travel and create PR for various companies, to come up with their travel plans, to come out with the hidden destinations or hidden places from across the world. And then they create a travel plan with the number of people who are involved and the way the travel is carried out. And these travel plans are not done in group. They are very limited in number, and that is how it takes place. So these travel bloggers will be asked to put out their travel plans, and they will be upvoted based on their upvoted. I think that's just a word. It's not like what Steemit does. So they will be given preference based on the way that they are presenting their travel plan with photos or videos. And once that is done, people will start coming and they would want to take part in that, and that will start gaining the momentum. You may ask me why, whether it is really feasible. It is just a small portion of society. Let me tell you something. The reality is totally different. This is something that I am experienced personally. This is an out and out commercial project. And even if you look at it, even Steemit has around 350,000 accounts compared to a Facebook, which is 1 billion accounts. Both are social media itself. But then Steemit is the future, is what people claim. So that is what I want to give you an example. So this is the thing that is of the future in the travel industry. And travel is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And what happens is yes, it's just the account, not the users. Users is not the same as the number of accounts, mark. And yes, so how does this travel portal drive the other things is, as the number of people who are interested in the experience-based travel increases, more and more people are forced to accept the currency that is backing the project. That is, we would want people to give the value to the currency rather than we trying to add value to the currency. We just do our job of bringing quality travel concepts onto the one platform, and people will start driving it. And this will force the hospitality industries, the airline industries, the tourism sectors from across the world to get connected and start driving the decentralized part of it. And this is something that we will be focusing on. And to start off with, there are two projects that is running in the portal. One is a trip to Bhutan. Bhutan is the landlocked Himalayan kingdom, which for a foreigner to enter, you'll have to pay around $200 a day. And the tourism sector in Bhutan is of highest standard in the world, and it's one of the most respected countries in the world with negative carbon index. So that is the first experience-based travel that we are offering through the travel portal. The second one would be the road trip across Thailand. Thailand, as you all know, is just famous for shopping, massages, this Bangkok, and that is where it ends. But we will be taking you to the native Thailand culture through the northern part of Thailand on a road trip, and that is the second part of the travel portal that you can get involved with. And yes, the right now voice shares is accepted there. That is, you can pay up to 10% of the package cost, or $100, whichever is lower, through your voice shares tokens, and you don't have to wait. So whatever if you are having voice share tokens, just reach out to me, and if you're interested with the package, you can reach out to me. I'll accept the voice shares tokens for these travels as well. So this is a working business model which is there from the past 1.5 year, and we are just trying to decentralize it. These are the only two projects, and this will be my last Whaletank as far as representing another project is concerned. One was out of the emotional connect, and the second one, that is the travel part, was on a passionate ground. This is something that I'm doing out of my passion. So this is the second project that I'll be driving as well on the decentralized community. Offline as well, I'm doing my travel events regularly. And the second part of this Hangout, I would like to use to give a small update about voice shares. Voice shares was driving something like what Fuzzy is doing to invite the new projects, and we have started out with the first post, and we have got around 2 responses, and we will be bringing them onto the Whaletank. So this is one way wherein we always believed in synergy, and we will continue to do that. And they will come on the Whaletank platform to see how the tokenization can drive their changes. And I found one of the projects to be really cool, so I'll be putting them across. Apart from that, if you guys have any doubts about anything, you can just ask me.
Right now is a perfect time for anybody in the community to step up if they would like to. I have things that I can always talk about with respect to this, but perfect opportunity if you do have questions regarding voice shares.
To make it clear, this travel is a separate project. However, it does accept voice shares, but it's not like a voice shares project. It just happens to accept voice shares. Is that right?
Yes, this is a totally different project. It's an out-and-out complete commercial project wherein we are trying to leverage the benefits of a blockchain technology to a real-world lifestyle like travel. So we will be leveraging those benefits onto travel industries, which is a multi-billion-dollar industries. We will be looking for clear-cut investors who would want to get in touch with this. And this is not just a concept, it's a running business model which we are already running with the travel events. And we have started with Himalayan tours, and we have started with Southeast Asian tours. We will be slowly expanding to Europe, US, and South America as well. So it's a different project, and it's like the travel of the future. And this is something which I believed in, because I always believe in leveraging these benefits to the real world solutions. So that is one thing. And yes, the travel portal accepts voice share tokens, adding to the value of the voice share tokens. You can pay up to the 10% of the package fees, or $100, whichever is lower.
So how does somebody find out, like, do you have a website for this travel portal?
Yes, I do have a website right now, that is rideofpassion.com. You can find about all my travel blogs and all my travel experiences that is written there. So that is where I'm trying to run the travel events as well right now. Going forward, we will be having our own separate website just for the business part of it. Right now, rideofpassion.com.
I was also wondering, Ride of Passion, if you would like combine your travels with giving updates on how people are there, if they're like charities or the Red Cross, helping somewhere, then the blockchain, we talked about this. Blockchain offers like possibilities to monitor progress and then what they're doing, and so that no funds get lost. Or is it something which would bother you and stand in the way?
Yeah, whatever we discussed was in alignment with voice shares project, but the travel portal will be totally a decentralized commercial project. It cannot be associated with any kind of charity. But yes, if there is an event which can give out different experiences, bringing out people to the hidden destinations in the world, so that is very much accepted. But yes, whatever we discussed, we can always implement it with the voice shares project.
Sure. I meant actually that the travelers could give updates on how people are living there, that maybe it could have some connection. Just an idea.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, we can always do that. We can always, that's the reason I said the way a traveler sees the world is totally different from what a tourist sees that same place. So a traveler can always come up with his travel plans and also give out some updates about the community or the people living there, their traditions, their culture, and create a blog out of it and have a separate space on the website for that.
Have you considered reaching out and talking to some of the other travel bloggers who are on Steemit currently? Because there are some who have like 10,000 followers.
Yes, see, that is the thing. Most of us, like travel bloggers, we write about our travels for years, and all we get is some PR related queries wherein they ask us to do the PR for their agencies. And I think I missed some accounts here. Yes, one of the ways wherein we can scale the coin that is backing the project is the way we include the number of users on the board on the portal, or the number of services that we are offering. Yes, we can. We even as I posted about 2 months back about a travel Discord, people were interested in it. But then the Steemit way of working is totally different from what we see. People here write only for the sake of it, for the sake of representing their work. They don't take it in a business model. And I've been doing it from the past 1 year, and that is the reason I thought I'll bring it on blockchain. So how does the cryptocurrency work is we will be creating a network of the travel communities. Travel community as in there is a traveler who has his own community, who has his own experience to offer. So he will be offering his own package, and he will be representing his own package on his portal. People would pay him in our tokens, and he will be accepting our tokens to take them on that package. So that is the way the currency starts getting accepted. And this is a market driven, wherein other airlines also will start getting involved. There will be other travel agencies also that will be start getting involved. But these travel agencies will not be a tourism based agencies, but it has to be experience based agencies. Only then they can get on board.
So it's not quite there yet, and you kind of have to work with them. Is that, I mean, you have to kind of work on the structure before all of this stuff.
No, it is a working model. As I said, it's a simple thing. Let me explain it in a very simple way. You are a travel blogger. You have visited a particular destination, and you have seen that place in a particular way, and you will want to represent it you will be representing that travel on our portal. People would be interested in how much clarity you give to your project, and how much clarity on what is the team that is backing it, how you would conduct the travel. People would want to get involved with the project, and our portal will connect them to that travel thing. And the only way of paying for the travel blogger would be through our tokens. So that is the way we would be doing this. And as we go on, we will be driving the currency to be accepted by airlines, accommodation partners, and other agencies who are related to travel as well.
So it really is kind of ready for you to reach out to people. Is that fair?
Yes. We are already reaching out to people, and we are practically implementing these travels as well. I've just posted another poster along with my RSVP. You can see that. So that is our next travel that is coming out. And that is also an experience-based travel across the mountains of northern Thailand. So like this, we'll be coming out with some hidden destinations for people to come and experience the world.
You know, it'd be really cool to see a group of travelers go to the places where you're going, and they're all bloggers, and and you also maybe even have little meetup there or something, to have events in different areas and promote Steemit and other different and voice shares and cryptocurrencies in general.
Exactly. It will be like a travel fest or something like that, a crypto space travel fest. And yes, we can do it. That is one of the ways wherein we can do it once we start getting famous. But as we start, we want to have some quality travel bloggers to get on board to offer something that is not very common in the society right now.
Well, I look forward to seeing all the things that come from this. You've reached your 15-minute mark. Is there any need for going over?
And that's it. This was the basic idea that I wanted to convey. And if you guys have any doubts or anything, you can just log into my website, www.rideofpassion.com. That is same as my name. That is same as my Steemit name as well. It's rideofpassion.com. You can learn more about my travels, my travel blogs and everything, and my travel packages that we are offering. So you can always reach out to me on those details that is given out in the website.
Sounds great, man. And I want to just really quickly leverage the moment to say thank you to everybody who does join these Hangouts. All of the things that you're doing might not always start out extremely big right away, but persistence and creating these different projects will pay off for you in the long run, even if it's not the project even if you don't end up with the project you started off with. So it's good to see the various things that are coming from all of you. And I would urge you all to consider, whenever you find one that really tends to stick with you, something that that makes you smile when you hear it, consider supporting that person in any way, shape, or form that you can. Now, with that said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to BamBam808, who is doing multiple projects in the Steemit ecosystem, but all of them, the gamer community and the Steemit's got talent communities and other things that he is doing will draw value into something that he's trying to consider how he's going to bring value into it, and it's called SKILLCoin. and that is actually now listed on the BitShares DEX, and I traded a few Beyond Bits for them as well. So they do trade on the exchange currently, but we are going to give him the opportunity to step up and talk a little bit about it.
Morning, everybody, or afternoon, depending on where in the world you are at. So, yeah, Fuzzy is kind of getting in the, initial heads up. I'm going to be more discussing, what the mission, is for these coins. And as you can see, I've got a post that I'll drop. Kind of like Steemit's Got Talent, I've been on here and discussed that. And similarly to wanting to give people who may not have talents and stuff that are quote unquote stereotypical, talents, I wanted to create this token. Shout out to Fuzzy for all the help he's given me. But I wanted to create this token to have a way to, other than just with whale shares and Beyond Bit, to be able to promote and market and reward people off of Steemit's Got Talent, off of GS Gaming, to be able to promote talent that may not be getting the awareness or the views or anything that it needs. I think we've got to constantly try and push and increase the quality, Steemit in general, especially as we've got, bot users and the whole battles going on there. The main things that I'm going to be looking to reward, and I've already actually given out quite a bit of these out to people, is quality, creativity, and entrepreneurship, drive, skill. Those are really the type of things that off the top I'm going to be looking for, as well as a few other people that I have given coins to. But I think that comes in every different, shape and size. One person's quality to another is, qualities in the eye of the beholder. So I look forward to having a core group of people that I know have that eye for quality and creativity that may not be getting the site that it needs, or the press coverage, so to speak. So that's kind of more or less the layout of them. There are 100,000 in existence, and as Fuzzy said, they are available on the Open Ledger DEX and BitShares. They are under Beyond Bits currently. As Fuzzy said, he's purchased a few of them. Thank you, Fuzzy.
Sure.
So yeah, that is my my token, my skill coin. I want it to be, mass spread, so to speak, not just to anybody and everybody, but to the people who I feel really deserve it and may not have been able to share their knowledge, so to speak, their talent or skill.
Do you feel like there are a lot of different talented members of the community that are not being seen? And why do you think that what do you think the root of it is, if that is the case? Or obviously, if it's not, please feel free to expound upon that as well.
To answer Mike's question, yes. More or less, that is currently. I've also got it as prizes for my contests, and I use them along with, they will be trading them in on Open Ledger is what I'm currently working out. As Fuzzy said, I'm kind of a token rookie, so I'm learning as I go. It's been quite an amazing experience.
And just so everybody knows what Mikey's question was, he says, so you have people curating the skill coins and giving out the coins to underappreciated authors.
Yes, authors, but yeah, pretty much people who I think, or not just I personally, kind of a group of people that I'm starting to form. Yeah, basically, like you said, that haven't been seen as much as, I feel they should, or others feel they should. There's definitely, there's that, I forget what it is off the top of my head, but there's that account that comes around and values underrated posts, which in my opinion doesn't do too much as far as other than saying, hey, you're worth more. It's not like it actually gives them, from what I understand, a portion of that lost profit, so to speak, the undervalued profit. So I think this is a way to actually do something about, not just say, hey, you should get more views, actually be able to give people token to that they can then transfer and use for upvotes through the Fuzzy Vest, at least currently.
Mike B is asking some questions regarding Curie. And he says, they don't work like whale shares for upvotes. He says, so you have people curating with skill coins and giving out the coins to underappreciated authors. And if so, then what do the authors do with the coin?
Currently, I'm kind of holding on to as many Beyond Bits as I can, and I will be doing everything I can to kind of get the quote unquote exchange rolling. But my plan is to as well have kind of spread them out so that there is inner exchange going on.
And the distribution method will be largely from. Do you think? Have you thought at all about how this would be determined? Because like the undervalued aspect of it, like because Curie has its own methods, like what Mike PM is talking about, and there are other ones that have their own kind of criteria on what is considered undervalued. So I'm just kind of curious, like how do you kind of think about that, and have you thought about it yet?
I've given a little thought, but as of right now, I mean, just yesterday, as you know, over the day before, I actually received them and kind of started to wrap my head around it. So a lot of this is kind of being learned from some of the wiser buddies that I have on the platform. You know, Steam Powered Picks has been helping me out quite a bit. So I'm just kind of collecting, you have been as well, Fuzzy. You know, I've been collecting kind of as much knowledge as I can and rolling with the punches, so to speak.
Well, there's definitely a lot of people who are starting to, who have been in this community who've been thinking about a lot of these things. So I always urge you to talk with them and continue doing so, because they're asking a lot of the same questions. And of course, I'm asking a lot of questions and watching what you guys do and trying to learn from it as well. So it's kind of part of the journey, but I do look forward to seeing where it goes and how you figure it out. I would also urge you to consider looking and talking to people like Curie and all of them, because there's also the potential, and a lot of people, it's nothing against anything specific like what you're talking about, but I will say that whenever there's other projects out there that might be doing some similar things, oftentimes it requires far less resource in terms of resources to work with them, if at all possible, and kind of leverage your tokens to give them some of your tokens in that way, shape, or form too, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of possibilities. I would urge you to consider some of those opportunities as valid and at least worth looking at, because the synergy between these projects, especially ones that are already established, could help significantly with the project.
I agree. Thank you. I will definitely look into that. As far as the value proposition, I saw Chief had mentioned that. Basically, I want it to be known as, that something that really, kind of like Curie has made a name for itself, curating, and I want it to be a token that really stands for, somebody. It's not something that you just hand out to, anybody and everybody. I want it to, really be for that undervalued Steemit user, because we all know if we haven't been there, we are there as far as being undervalued and not getting as many views as we feel we should. So, yeah.
Mike is saying here,
I think Curie leaves a huge gap that needs to be filled. They stop curating people when they hit a reputation of 52. For me, I hit 52 when my wallet was worth like $75. So great. Now I have some money and some rep, but I'm lost. Haha. So maybe I could fill the void after Curie. That's a great idea. Thank you, Mike.
Does anybody else have any comments or ideas about this? 3 minutes and 48 seconds.
How do we know what his criteria is? Like, I can make the greatest video and I don't know, but then nobody will see me anyway because it sucks. Or how does it work?
That's why I'm not doing it individually, because I am I'm not the one who claims what quality is actual good quality. So I'm trying to form kind of a group of quote unquote community, leaders and managers and such, and give them each a chunk so that it's not just me who's, I am not the one to decide what, just distinctly by myself, what quality is and what is passion, what is any of these things. So that's what I'm really trying to do, is get kind of a group of people that are trusted and well respected in the community for, making good decisions and doing right by the people of the community.
So how do you pick those people? I mean, the managers.
A lot of it is from people that I've had relationships with on Discord or Steemit, or I think it's one of those things that's somewhat easy to figure out as far as who does good things for the platform. Fuzzy, if he wasn't super busy, I would, love for him to do something like that. There's a lot of people, and basically more or less most people in this room, I would say, have the ability. Whether they choose to do it or want to do it, that's up to them. But I'm looking for people that have a little more reach, have the passion to go out and really want to improve other people on the platform.
Good to hear.
So if you're giving out these tokens to people who are creating good content, maybe you can make a system that after they have accumulated enough tokens, they're clearly a solid contributor. Maybe they get the power to administrate a larger batch of tokens, or you delegate something to them in that way. I don't know, just an idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I've actually kind of begun that without laying it out as eloquently as you have. I've given people, ranging amounts of tokens. But yeah, that's a good idea as far as really getting down a breakdown for it. That's actually one thing I just am reading Manish's question, Fuzzy. Is the token backed by BitShares or is it backed by BeyondBit? Because when you look at the actual asset, it looks like it's backed by BitShares.
Well, whenever you create a market, you decide, or a token, you decide the primary market for that token. I always keep the token's default primary market as BitShares, simply because BitShares is the token on the exchange. Now, these are IOUs, essentially, for whatever value proposition that people want to create. UIA tokens, generally they are meant to provide some form of value, and that value proposition can be very simply something like you're on a list of people who are valued, who have done great things. And you can even make it so tokens can't be traded. So you could kind of send out tokens to people and say as though they're badges. There's all kinds of cool stuff. Yeah, there's all kinds of cool gamification stuff. But yes, ring, Chucky. And I will say right now is the perfect time if you were interested in share dropping some on some people who are the guest speakers here, in order to maybe get them to talk a little bit more about this with you and give their ideas openly. Maybe leveraging the tokens is not a bad start if you want to buy a little bit of time. But if not, that's of course fine too.
Yeah, definitely. I actually did want to send some to, I believe it's you, who then breaks them up and sends them to everybody in the Whaletank, right?
Well, actually, what I'm going to start doing with that is I'm going to start giving you guys the distribution list, because that's just another thing that I would prefer, because I distribute my own tokens to people like you guys who join up, but I would definitely prefer to let you guys do that. Just for, I never know. I've been thinking a lot more about this, and I never know what exactly the ramifications are of taking on myself for people who's, you guys have a token. It would be great for you guys to be able to learn how to pass it out and do all that stuff as well.
Definitely. I agree.
But yeah, this will be like the guest list will be the sponsor list. And the reason why I'm creating this is and of course it's, this is a work in progress, an iterative process over the course of years. But we're getting to the point where, you guys will be able to, the goal is to incentivize everybody who's in these hangouts to go out and promote our hangouts so more people come and bring their tokens to us. And the more that they see the value for joining these hangouts and being part of these hangouts, for being part of that guest list, we have now a ledger of all the people who've participated in that and made it possible. So there's a lot of cool things that we can do with this, and I want everybody to know that even if somebody else comes out and says that that's what they've done, we've been doing it since before Steam existed, that we've been talking about this stuff. So I want you guys just to all remember that's all I care about, is that people don't, that they remember where some of this stuff came from. But I very much appreciate everybody here who is part of this, because a lot of the people who are here today been here from the very beginning, and many of BitShares, and then a lot of them have been here from the very beginning of Steam, and both of them represent huge milestones in the Beyond Bitcoin community. And that's of course in addition to Peer Plays and EOS, which is going to be coming out, and some other cool projects. So with that said, I would like to really quickly give everybody the guest list for this week, and I'll type in the magic word. Please consider giving your email address as well, as I will And I intend on in the future using the email addresses that I receive in here to potentially give out information that you might not find anywhere else with what we're doing.
It would also be very good to see the list who is who on Steemit and Mumble, so that if I or Chucky or anyone is going to do transcriptions, we know who's saying what, and then we can.
Wonderful idea, idea, Nutella. Thank you. Yeah, we'll talk about this after the hangout, but that's a great idea, and I would love to pursue at least a conversation about how you think would be best to do it. Now, with that said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to Mr. Wang, who's going to be talking about the official Houston Steemit Meetup. And, of course, I'm not the one running it, so I'll step back and let Mr. Wang step up to the plate.
What's up, everybody? Can you hear?
Loving life, man. Loving crypto.
Sweet. Well, we have some more stuff I would like to get into before we get to the Houston Hangout. And I'll go ahead and let Compound go ahead and start off with that.
All right, cool. There's an echo on your end though. So I guess I'm in here with him. So I'm including my little announcement with what he's doing also. So first, I guess let me just get this off the list. So BeyondBitcoin.club is now active, and as some of you know, some of you are subscribed, and it's a YouTube channel. So every time we get together or discuss a topic, we're able to go live and talk to the people and, live chat with them in real time and share a whole bunch of information. I just think it's good to have multiple platforms to attract, to put more nets out there to catch more minnows and bring them in and hopefully in the end, turn them into whales and bring their tokens with them. So if you're not subscribed to BeyondBitcoin.club, be sure to, and I wanted to throw this in that, what we ultimately want to do is we want to do the share drops to people that are subscribed to the channel and reward those people that subscribe and tune in. That way we can build that platform and do some bigger things. I was going to get into the whole cartoon thing, but I'll go ahead and pass it over to Mr. Wang. That way he can finish that off.
Yeah, that Beyond Bitcoin club, that's pretty cool the way we have it all set up, the way Compound went about that. And we'll be having all our channels linked on that too.
And basically what he wants to do, he also wants to reward WangChange holders. So I guess go ahead and speak about that.
Yeah, so big thing is WangChange. I'm sure everybody's questioning what the heck's going on with that. I released a video a couple weeks ago, a little teaser parody, and then I released a video 2 days ago, pretty much, acknowledging everything that I've built and the history and origins of WangChange. So along with all these projects that we have going, I wanted to go ahead and give everybody an opportunity to earn WangChange, the tokens, by simply subscribing to, BeyondBitcoin.club. I'm considering actually offering opportunities for people to exchange a good amount of WangChange for services or, me talking about their projects.
Let me throw this in there real quick.
Similar to what.
Let me throw this in there real quick, Wang. So also I wanna make sure to throw that in there also. So what Wang is also saying is that he's got some exciting things coming, and with all these new platforms, it'll allow us to do some cool stuff. And it's everybody knows that WangChange has had its ups and downs and all that. And at the end of the day, it's about results, right? And so what he wants to do is he wants to reward all those loyal token holders. I mean, because they could have sold off. So what he wants to be able to do is reward all them, and he wants to share drop also and reward them, for I guess staying down with WangChange through the thick and the thin. Go ahead and turn it back over to you.
Appreciate it. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to say. Man, you can say stuff for me in a nutshell. That because I really do appreciate everybody who has held onto the token, and little by little I've been repairing it and recovering it. Just last week I did some share drops using my Beyond Bits and stuff. So I'm trying to recover it and maintain this reputation and stuff. So, it's been a bit of a struggle, but I think I've proven how somebody could actually, mess up as I'm learning this whole token system and bit share system, because it's confusing as heck. But it shows how somebody can actually, mess up and still recover. And my resilience, my will, my desire to actually succeed over, is way past, it's way more, it's beyond, me just giving up, failing and saying, nah, screw this.
And go ahead and get into the Houston Hangout.
So next Friday, the 13th, we're going to be having a Houston Hangout, the official Houston Hangout that my boy Ryan went ahead and started up. Extraordinary pilot.
he asked me to come on board, be a part of it. So, I'm kind of helping him organize it and everything. So in Houston next week, we will be having a meetup of members. And, we're going to be having a Houston meetup next Friday. There's a post, I have it linked. And check it out, man. I'm going to be doing some promotions for it over the course of the next week. So be looking out for that. And if you're around or come to Houston, come check us out and come hang out with us. And there might be some opportunities for more tokens in too.
Hey, Fuzzy, how much time do we have left?
You have over 9 minutes.
Okay, cool. Well, then let me go ahead and throw this in there. Then we got 9 minutes. Hey, remember that crypto cartoon that we were telling you about? Well, there's 2 episodes on YouTube so far. And the website is almost done. It'll be cryptocartoon.com. It's almost done. And we have a lot of products that we're creating. We're creating Bitcoin backpacks, Bitcoin notebooks, mechanical pencils, candy, T-shirts, all kind of stuff. And so I'm really, really excited about that. And, Crypto Crush is already on the Google Play Store. And we're still, I guess, at the finish line with the iOS version for iPhone. And the cool thing is, though, that the next game after that will be Super Bitcoin. It's like Super Mario, but Bitcoin, he's going to have a gun and he can shoot and he can jump and he can fly. And so that's really going to be fucking cool. Sorry to curse, but I had to put that out there. So it's really cool, man. And if actually the Instagram page is up, so if you guys are on Instagram, follow the page and follow it. It's gonna be funny stuff. And like I said on the second episode, I exposed JP Morgan of buying Bitcoin, and on the first episode, I was just talking crazy to JP Morgan for calling Bitcoin a fraud. And sometimes you got to go out there and let these boys know to watch their mouths, and have them recognize a winner, like Beyond Bitcoin and my boy Fuzzy. And so go ahead. I'm gonna post that I guess in the comments if you want to follow the account on Instagram. Yes. Check it out, man. It's some funny stuff in there. Check it out. I swear, like cryptocurrency candy, like cryptocurrency gummies, like that's gonna be fucking insane.
Oh man, it's been a blast making these things, doing the voices and coming up with the stories and watching how everything goes and how we can mesh it all together. It's been freaking amazing experience.
Well, I'm loving the cartoons. I'm not gonna lie. I've been pleasantly surprised by that, and the gaming. I won't lie. Contra, kind of, or something like that would be amazing. To be able to have like a video game that side scrolls where you're killing enemies, or maybe you're not taking out enemies, but there's bankers and you're jumping on their heads.
That's exactly how Super Bitcoin is going to be. It's cool. He's got like a cool little futuristic gun.
That would be awesome, because you could even have like how Contra had it, where the little blimps would fly across the screen. You'd have to shoot them down to get a new power up gun or something. You could do that and promote different cryptocurrencies and let the communities choose what special effects they get and stuff.
You know what the cool thing would be is when I finally wrap that up. I think that'll be done in probably December, I'd say, in time for Christmas. And it would be kind of cool to, in the beginning, to be able to choose what coin you want to play with. That'll be cool as hell.
Yes, it would. And then you could even have leaderboards and let the players promote their coin by playing their coin and getting to the top of the leaderboards.
That is true. That's true.
It would be interesting to see how we could use or implement, tokens being used in games too. That's where I'm really curious about.
That's a great idea. I mean, wow.
And like I said, I posted the account if you want to follow the Instagram page. It's Cryptocartoon, and the website will be Cryptocartoon. We'll see where it goes, man. Let's just point the cannon to the goddamn sky and see what happens.
Do you need funding for something like the cartoons and things like that? Have you considered opening them up to like have sponsor tokens and things?
I have, and I was playing with the idea of an ICO, and the reason it does require funding is because to speed up the animation, and then on top of that, to bring that merch to life. Like all those, like the T-shirts and the notebooks and the backpacks. Like there's pictures. Like if you go to the Instagram, you'll see like we have boys backpacks, girls backpacks. Like they look fucking cool, man.
Can you put in a link?
I already want to buy them. They're ready. They're like, give them to me.
I'd love to be as a character, or anyone to be a character in there. That's so cool.
It's a Cryptocartoon. I can't even believe I was able to get cryptocartoon.com. I was like,
yeah, that's a great one, man.
Kudos to that, yeah.
But yeah, I guess in the meantime, we're just, going to keep developing it. The first 2 episodes did have about Bitcoin, I do the voice of Bitcoin. Third one we're trying to do, Mr. Wang are going to get together because he does, the voices of the other coins like Ethereum and Litecoin and all them. So we're going to come out with some Ethereum in there so that way they can kind of see what's going on with Ethereum.
Yeah,
that's wonderful.
And we have Nick Sullivan too, which is another actor, voice actor that we have. So we have a good setup right now, a good base to run off with, and man, it's gonna be some powerful stuff.
We'll see where it goes. How time do we have left now?
You are currently at 3 minutes.
As a matter of fact, I would. You know what? Let me try to get that crypto cartoon page for Steemit.
Yeah, everything is still in the early stages, so everything will be up, and I'm slowly building, and we will be running on all cylinders here pretty soon. It's just everything's still getting built. The website is like 90% done, so I was waiting to announce that website. I just threw it in because we had some time.
I think it's a great idea to also offer people to pay up for being in those shows. Like characters, like they do on Kickstarter.
Great idea.
If you put in so much money, then you can do this. You can be in the titles, or
Yeah, no, that is an idea that we were considering, is giving everybody an opportunity to feature their coin or themselves. Giving communities an opportunity to feature their coin by putting in and investing in and helping us get this running sooner.
Yeah, I could also say like, hey, I really hate this and this guy, and can you make like fun of him or something like that?
Hey, I was hoping I wasn't going to get in trouble by doing those episodes because I think it got like 10,000 views on YouTube, but I was just talking crazy about JP Morgan. I said, because he called Bitcoin fraud. I said, the only fraud going on is the $35 overdraft fees over there at that Chase.
Yeah, this is good stuff. And if you look at the website too, it's nice. You guys have done a very professional job on it. I mean, look, you have the gear here that you're trying to get moving to.
Yeah, just trying to build it, man, and just trying to make you proud.
Well, I'm loving it. It's definitely a pretty cool little thing that you guys got going, and I will tell you right now, if you want support in any way, shape, or form, I'm all behind this. I've laughed at what you guys have been doing with the Cryptocartoon, but I'm even more foaming at the mouth for the games, because I think those things, you could even plug in like various sound bites from the cartoons and make it so people play through the cartoon, like get to play actually through the cartoon storyline and stuff. You can take this to so many levels, man.
If you could also like add voices, what they really said, on YouTube, because we have all documentation on who said what, and you could like put it in those cartoons as well.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I think it's got a bright future. I think, man, it's I just know that going towards the young demographic was the way to go, because if this is the money in the future, then we got to market it to the future. So that's why I was like, let me make backpacks, let me make notebooks, let me make, school stuff, because I mean, school is always right. And so that's where the young kids are. So
heck yeah, man. Well, yes. Ah, good job. Okay. We are now at the 15-minute mark. So is there anything else that you guys would like to talk about, like really quick, as far as like giving your information or any of that?
Subscribe to BeyondBitcoin.club, and I don't know if we're able to, if you can possibly comment your Open Ledger screen name, I guess, in the comments of this live stream, and hopefully if that's safe to do, I don't know if it is or not, but if you can, then we can go ahead and reward people that are subscribed, and then Mr. Wang is going to go through his list and see who has a full WangChange token, and he's going to take care of them.
Tell you what I would urge you to do is send people to the following link. I'll send it to you right in here.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So okay, perfect.
That way, because then they can even put their email addresses in there, and you can have an email list from them. And of course, I can give you the information on how to do that. how to collect that. But I'm going to start leveraging this tool to kind of help you guys. And then, of course, the people who join and are part of this guest list, then they can go out and they can promote it. And hopefully the idea is the more people promote what you guys are doing and what other cool projects are being built, the more that other projects will want to be seen by our entire community, because they'll realize that the value proposition behind our community goes further than just coins. And it goes into expertise and people who are really looking and trying to find answers to some of the problems that we have today. So if we can leverage all this and put it together, and we have a share drop list of the people who really make it happen, like Nutella, who's getting all these things done, people who are helping translate the transcripts, Alex P. Morris, PMO, who's helping out, and you got all these different people. Together we create this extremely valuable like synergy that's more valuable than anything else on Earth, right? Like that's what humans' superpower is when we choose to do it.
Oh yeah, you know, I want to throw in there, we're at Beyond Bitcoin on .club on YouTube is at 68 followers. That's pretty good, man. I'm proud of you, Fuzz. Proud of you, young Fuzz.
I'm proud of you guys. This is the stuff that I've been waiting for, that people would start stepping up and doing these types of things and trying to make value propositions from what we do. That's, and in an organic way. And because we can show people what we like, the value propositions can be real, and they don't have to be just selling the next pump and dump coin like most crypto advocates are trying to do. I should probably promote pumps and stuff on BitShares, but I prefer to promote things that I think are organically valuable and proving themselves over time. So that's what we do.
Yeah,
like the
that's
turtle,
one thing.
baby. Let's win the race.
I just want everybody I just want to remind everybody that, you know, I'm learning all this WangChange stuff, this whole token stuff, UIA stuff on the fly. So, you know, all these little bumps and, you know, potholes that I've run along on the way, you know, I've learned from them, and I'm trying to use that and make my token, anything I offer, that much better.
Well, with that said, we are over a little bit, but I will say thank you for joining up and talking about this stuff. Please make sure everybody, if you're around the Houston area, to consider the Steemit Meetup. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to step to the next project here in the Whaletank for today, and that is going to be Community Casino. And Nick Nass and Beth will be here to talk a little bit about the update on that project.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to talk. It was nice to hear about all you guys' projects too. We have some things in the works that I want to talk about today. I haven't really brought up in the past. I want to talk about, I actually posted the first time. I posted a little bit of a development post about some of the ideas, and this is just some of the stuff that we're working on. We have a lot of ideas. We don't want to put everything out there. And then also some of the stuff are just ideas. Not all of them will come to fruition, but basically I'm just going to kind of go over a few of the things, and then you see if you guys have any questions or comments. Basically, I think you guys know what Community Casino is doing right now. We have a poker game, Community Poker, run by me, and we have a Community Blackjack run by bethalea. And they're going very well. We have a lot of loyal supporters, a lot of loyal friends who are playing and enjoying the games, and it's really fun right now. But I mean, that's just the beginning. We have big goals. I've said before, we're taking our time. We're not rushing. We don't have a lot of money to put into it, so we're just putting a lot of man hours. Me and Beth have worked very hard to get where we've gotten and do some things behind the scenes that we haven't talked about yet. So I'm going to talk about some of the things that we are working on. We do have a website. It's not live, but I have been working on it, and I'm developing this myself. So it's going to take some time. But to start, I'm going to explain what a community casino is a little bit. Community casino ultimately will be a casino, whether it becomes brick and mortar or stays as an online casino aspect. We want a casino where people can come and play and have fun, while we also give back to the community surrounding the casino. And the idea is, there's obviously a lot of issues with addiction and stuff like that, but I want to avoid that. We want to make it so that it's more fun. The idea that we would like to do, the idea that we have, is to make a community casino, a casino online, where it's basically essentially a free roll. There are a lot of maybe a chip or a crypto generated from the website, similar to how Steemit generates Steam. And this will be in a free roll type process where you can play games and make some. Now, obviously, we're going to have some opportunities to buy the token or buy the crypto so that you could actually play higher rolls and higher stake type games. But we want it to be fun, and we also want to give back. So some things I talked about in the development post were some of the ways we want to give back to the community. We are actually talking now about how we're going to start doing that. We aren't making much of a profit or any of a profit at this point, but we want to try to start doing that as soon as we can. So me and Beth have been talking about that. Let me see what else. I want to talk about the website. So it's going to be a while before we have fully developed games where, a token or crypto is used. But I have been in talks with a couple third-party apps to at least have some kind of fun games running on our site on Community Casino. And the website, it will be ccasino.us. It's not live yet, though. Until then, I am working on scripts so that it'll show our games on the website from Steemit, so that way you can go on there and keep track of the games. There is a limited amount of time per round for each game. Usually it's 24 hours. So this will make it a lot easier for people to track the games. I mean, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, we're considering how we're going to do the crypto/token. At this point, we haven't decided exactly the best route for that. I mean, we're definitely willing to talk more about it with you two, Fuzzy, but I don't think we're ready at this point to have something. We want to, if we do have a crypto or a token, we want to give it value. So I don't want to rush into something like that. As you guys know, Beth is our queen of nonprofits, and we eventually want to have a foundation, create a foundation through Community Casino, where we're giving our 50% of our profits back to the community. We are still talking about that, and obviously we're not making a lot of profits to be doing something like that right now, but we would like to do that as soon as we can. So we're talking about how we can maybe implement it in the small scheme of things right now. Beth, do you want to talk about any of the nonprofit?
I've talked about it here before. We need to start our corporation first, and then what we'll do is create they call it a corporate foundation that's attached to the casino, and the casino will make donations to the foundation, which will be a tax write-off for the casino first, and then the foundation will be accepting LOIs, which are letters of intent from community members to request funds for different things.
Teleguy said he had a question.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah, I noticed you guys were mentioning, that you'd split the profits, 50% just to keep the casino working and 50% goes back to the community. That sounds more to me like a great concept, but have you gone into a business plan where you figured out whether or not that's financially feasible? For instance, if I said I wanted to open up a restaurant, called it Community Restaurant, and I wanted 50% of everything to go back into the community, depending on what my fixed costs were and all that kind of stuff, and for research and development, and to keep my technology current, and I'd have to keep growing as computers, changed and different things. I'd have to invest more of that money back into keeping the business alive. So from a business perspective, it might actually not come out to 50%. And if you constantly tout that it's going to be 50% before you know what your final costs are going to be, I would caution against that, because maybe it might only be 25%, but that's a healthy 25% depending on the thousands you're doing. So I just wanted to make that suggestion.
Yeah, no, it's something that I've actually been thinking about a lot lately. Unfortunately, we're not making enough profits for it to be a big issue at this point. But yeah, no, one of the things that I was thinking is that when we get to that point, there may have to be a little bit off the top that goes straight back into the business, and maybe more like a 50% of our share,
Yeah, we're definitely talking about net profits, not gross. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, thanks for clearing that up.
For sure. Thanks for the question.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of money needed for future development. So you're definitely right in that. I mean, we already see it now. I mean, I can't develop it on my own. So at some point, it's going to cost a lot of money that we don't have. So, I mean, it's just the aspect. It's just business in general. So yeah, you're right about that, and we're going to have to take that into consideration for sure for the longevity of our company, and we definitely appreciate that. Does anybody else have any questions or comments?
You mentioned that the community could make requests for a portion of the foundation's capital. Do those have to be charitable causes or no?
Not necessarily. Right now, I'm looking into donating to the communities that we're a part of, the Steam Poker League, for instance, and Build-A-Whale, to just kind of give back to them so that, putting our money where we're talking already. And we're also looking eventually, and there have to obviously be a vetting process, but I'd even like to be able to help people, individuals. So no, is the short answer. No, it won't just be for charitable organizations.
And we have actually talked to a couple. I have a friend who runs does a lot of donations and stuff. And we've talked a couple, like homelessness is one thing. And, you know, when we get to actually having a large scale of, you know, big profits, we want to help homelessness for sure. It's something that me and Beth feel very important that we can give back to. So we have a lot of ideas. As far as Fuzzy's question on Peer Plays, we haven't communicated with them yet. We do appreciate the suggestion. We still need to decide how to approach them on that, whether it be a witness or possibly as a token. I do love the project's Peer Plays. I was one of the few I actually bought into the ICO, you know, about the community. So, I mean, definitely need to figure out, the Peer Plays community. Definitely, yeah. We definitely need to figure out how we can help each other. And it may be a great idea. I think it goes hand in hand, Peer Plays and community casino. I think at this point, they're a little bit above where we're at. So it's kind of hard to approach them. But, you know, maybe with the connections that we've made, and maybe we can move along a little bit faster with some help too. So
now I will say this, all these communities look for leaders, and the people, whether you guys like it or not, I hate to say it this way, whether you like it or not, when you're one of the people who says, okay, we're going to do something, you're now a leader in crypto. Congratulations. So I would urge you guys not to be afraid to go to the community, because a lot of the time, what a lot of people don't realize is those communities are waiting for somebody to also kind of give them hope that that there's somebody looking at it and wanting to work with it. Like if I'm holding a bunch of tokens in an ecosystem and somebody comes in and says, you know, I would like to do X, Y, and Z, but I don't have all the dang answers. A lot of people are going to go, oh, nice. I'm going to help them find answers because I want them to do this and make my tokens more valuable. So, you know what I mean? I'm just thinking that it might be something that don't consider too much that you guys aren't in a good place, because you're building a website, so you're capable of building a website. Beth has a lot of experience in the nonprofit sector. So you guys are like pretty well off in terms of the resources that you said you have, in terms of like the effort that you're putting in, the sweat equity, right? I would definitely not underestimate that, because I don't think they are higher above you, really. They have a chain they're running, but they need you guys, and just like you guys would need them.
That's a great point, Fuzzy. Thank you.
Yeah, we really appreciate that for sure. Thank you. Yeah, we do. Me and Beth will talk a little bit more about how to approach them about that and see. Do you suggest that we run as that app on the chain, or using the crypto, or what do you think? How do you think that we can be mutually supportive with Peer Plays?
It's a great question. I would love to tell you my thoughts on it, but I think the best thought that I can give you is to approach the entire community. Because sometimes I have things that I think are brilliant, and I bring it to a community, and they're like, dude, go home. So I don't want to say for sure. But I obviously have my own ideas on it. But I would say that starting with them would be the best step. And then we can always, all of us can talk about it in future sessions here.
It's good. It's a good step too. I mean, if we can make progress on that end, there's the possibilities are endless. So. Yeah,
and I won't say, I'm not going to lie, like I don't know that it's inside information really, but the information I have, it's as close to the source as you get, and I know that they're working on things. So, and they're working with marketing teams and stuff around the world. They're doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes, because in the crypto space, you don't always want to come out and tell everybody everything you're doing. There are certain things you want to kind of keep in your hand at the poker table, so to speak. I'm learning a little bit more about that, but anyway, would you guys like to give everybody really quickly a means of contacting you if they would like to help you or support you in some way? There might be people who have interest in helping you directly.
Yeah, we'll give our Discord channel, and you guys can get a hold of me or Beth in there.
Okay, I would also urge you guys to consider a method by which whenever people listen to the Hangouts afterwards, they could actually also join up that way. Discord is great for people who are here, but just to make it so you have a little bit more reach, and this is for everybody here, because I don't always give the message on every one of these segments, but to make sure that you have even an email address or something where the listeners to these Hangouts can say, okay, this is how I reach them, if I wasn't there to get into their Discord.
Yeah, you guys can reach me at communitycasino@gmail.com.
All one word?
All one word.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, now with that said, everybody, I want to just say thank you to everyone who has joined up today, and I would urge you to consider supporting those projects that you resonate with. And also, if you find a project that is very valuable to you, but hasn't been aware that this Hangout exists, I would urge you to consider reaching out to them. And I would also urge you to consider reaching out to other cryptocurrencies in the space that offer various value propositions and offer for them to come on to talk with you as a representative of their community. These are the ways that we can leverage the value propositions that we have, because don't forget, we don't just have one crypto community like Steemit or BitShares. We have an entire community of crypto people who the market cap of cryptocurrency is somewhere in the realm of, I believe, $140 billion right now. So it's a pretty big market cap for all of them. It's still smaller than Facebook though, so it's going to continue getting bigger. But those funds are out there sloshing around, and there are communities that are looking to help people. So always keep those things in mind. Now, with that said, jringo is going to be stepping up to the plate next to talk about blockchain radio, and I'll go ahead and I'll step back and let you do so, jringo.
Hello, hello.
What's up, man?
All right, so there's the link to the Steemit post. So blockchain radio, which is a name that is very much open to change, it just has to do with the content, looks to fill the podcast space with some discussion about the philosophy, the economics, the truly social, the disruption aspect of the blockchain technology. And that's really it. If you read the post, it goes into details. It's an open business plan, skeleton. So anyone can take it and run with this project if they want. But I think it's something that's perfect for this community. I know we have a lot of sort of social podcasters in here and stuff like that. The unique aspect to this, which I do not completely understand, is how to tokenize it. So I've got some ideas in there in the post that go over sort of how I would envision it, but I come more from blockchain. So cryptos with the blockchain and not so much tokens. So what I'm looking for is I want to know if anyone is kind of interested in DJing, interested in doing a show, interested in hosting an episode, anything like that. And then there's also a list of things that would be needed to get this thing going, such as audio editors. We need someone to make an intro for the show and the outro. This isn't a project that is fully developed or even really started. It is a baby. It is an idea. And I think in order to get it going, it is a full community endeavor. It's something that if you've always thought that this is a good idea, that you want to make it, but you didn't really want to do the organization involved around it, I'm here to do it. So that's about it. I'm just going to open it up to questions.
I really like your idea. We talked before, right? And what I really foresee is that if people have a project like on the Whaletank and people have questions about it, and they want to follow up, that they can maybe come on your show and answer some questions, like live, and generate more interest. That's something you would be interested in?
So that's something that I think would have a place once the podcast grows into a possible network with multiple shows. So the reason I have a passion about this is I've been in the crypto scene since close to the beginning. And in the beginning, the conversation was around how this technology is going to disrupt so many industries. And that's all it was about. And since the ICO craze and all this stuff, a lot of the focus has turned into projects. And a lot of them are great projects. And this is mostly inspired by what Fuzzy puts together here. So there's no knocking shows that do highlight projects. But as a consumer of blockchain tech, I find it difficult to find quality sort of technical or philosophical discussions. There are some really good podcasters out there that already do it, but so to answer your question direct, so in the timeline you can see at the bottom of it, once this thing gets going, if the tokenization structure works, let's say you need to have a certain number of tokens. Again, I don't even know if this will work in a token structure, but say you have a certain number of tokens and you burn those tokens, and once you burn a certain number, you are given a slot in the schedule to host a show. So maybe you want to take that time to highlight a specific project, something like that. But in the beginning, I see it as purely project free, just to take a breather from all this stuff.
Yeah, right. So you don't want to advertise, right?
Right.
But people can actually buy their time. So isn't that advertisement?
In the future. So again, in the timeline, it's a 1 year plan that it takes 1 year to get to the tokenization schedule, which again depends on if it even works. So in the first year, I will be maintaining control of the content as we develop a tokenization structure, a business plan, an operational model. all the stuff that's required to actually start a business. And hopefully, as we develop that, we'll figure out an automation structure. So I'll be able to completely step away from being an overlord and just let it run by itself. And once that happens, then you're absolutely right. You'll be able to buy your time, and that is your time.
Okay, so you want to do like most of it yourself then, and try it out for a year, and then see, and then have like your stamp on it, or is that your idea?
I actually don't want to do it myself, but it needs to get started somehow. So I will do a community run thing. I want to give people in the community, it's kind of like a lot of the projects that were discussed today. Like I want to give them access to a podcast instead of just a Steemit thing. So we could synergize with voice shares. We could have them come on and have someone tell a story, like a dramatic reading or something like that. We could synergize with, I know Mapster is doing some music stuff. We could have people do radio shows like that with just music from the crypto community. Really expands as much as you
And this is really cool, but the thing is, what I don't get is that you want to wait for the tokenization so long. I would do it immediately so that people can, if they work on this, that they can get some rewards or something.
So I'm of the firm belief that you have to have a product before you ask for funding. So tokenization to me is funding. And also, I don't know how to tokenize. I need help building that. So in the meantime, why not, just kind of start it? If someone wants to come on, we can make a show. The timeline in the post does say that, the first 2 to 6 shows probably won't actually be hosted, but it's, it's a time to come together, try out different formats, be like, hey, do you 6 people want to come on? And, we'll kind of fool around and talk about social media because we're all from Steemit. We can talk about how maybe the blockchain is going to change how we interact with social media. And from there, we move forward into tokenization. But the big thing is I need help figuring out how to tokenize this.
Okay, right.
It's one of those things. Here's what I'll say. We've got the BeyondBitcoin network, and creating a token, I kind of had obviously a similar idea as far as like creating a token to create these things. But then the more I got into it, the more I felt myself saying, we need to support other tokens doing their own thing, but at the same time create a synergy between them. Right? Like allow them to. So that's one of the reasons why I was always thinking like a guest list kind of thing, and creating tools that no longer that can have a community that can provide support to them and utilize them to empower them. And that's why we're trying to build tools. So I would urge you to consider how we can focus on building tools to enable those people. And of course, that's something that you don't have to worry about who puts their flag over it. And that's a struggle for me too, because obviously I want to be able to retire from this someday or get hit by a bus and it would still continue. And an economy of some sort would help with that. But one of the things that's actually the most valuable in my mind is creating the tools that make it easy for those people to do what they need to do. And maybe you can even have a token that, that helps to pay the people who build those tools and maintain them for people, because those tools actually are force multipliers, right? And a force multiplier is simply like, if you think about a gun on a lady who weighs 90 pounds, she might be a target, but if she knows how to use that weapon, she's suddenly as big as a guy who weighs 350 pounds and and has brass knuckles or a knife or something, right? That's the type of thing that we can do with these tools, just putting a little bit of funding. And that's why I'm actually trying to help fund people like you guys and people like you who have these ideas, in hopes that we can create synergy and do all these things. So I very much support the idea. But I would also urge you to consider, I guess, looking at the tools and how we can make it easier for people to use those tools. That's the big underlying thing that I'm finding, at least.
What do you mean by tools? Give me an example of a tool that has been built.
One of the tools is, for instance, like the share drop list, the ability to join up in a live Hangout type of environment and be able to give people who join up opportunity to provide their email address and contact information and be part of like a list of people who are able to be credited in some way, shape, or form, right? That ledger. Obviously, it's not perfect, but these are the types of tools that we can create. And just like, for instance, with whale shares, we can leverage them to give people upvotes on Steemit. Now, that's obviously Steemit related, but there's other things that we can add into that, and that's a synergy between BitShares and Steem, right? So that's another tool. And of course, these tools take time, but whenever they're done, now it's like, it's something to start from that everybody will kind of like, it's almost like I feel like people are saying, okay, hey, come over to my stand in the desert, but you need lemonade. Right. And then or if you can create that little watering hole, now everybody starts going there. And if everybody can help dig a little bit lower and get more into the water table, they can maybe start getting more water. And now you're starting to all be able to support one another. You have a common tie, a common interest, something that is substantial that helps you to be able to later walk away or get hit by a bus and everybody still keeps going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what this is. It's exactly that. The idea is to get it going to a point where there's this rotating token that is distributed based on what people contribute to the media network. And it's used to pay editors who edit a show, for hosts. It's used to pay marketers. It's used to give value to the people who contribute to the network, and in such a way that anyone can come and go from the network as they please. I think that's what you're talking about.
Well, yeah, that's one of them, but I would say that one of the problems that people, like, I think actually, before I go, does anybody else have anything that they'd like to bring up? Because we have about 3 minutes and 30 seconds. I could continue on this, but I just
yeah, exactly. Sure. Now, the thing is that what I don't know is that how could you like upvote stuff and still have it connected to the coin? Like you have Steemit, everybody can upvote, so people can really vote with the coin, but
it would not be on Steam. It would be a completely separate platform. It would ideally, it's in the plan, it would have its own website, its own hosting server. You wouldn't upvote. It's valuing the token as whoever has more tokens is more able to contribute to the front end of the network. So if you have more tokens, you are more likely to get a show to talk about what you want to talk about. And you can post the show on Steam and you get upvotes and income from that, but it's separate.
So it would be like Steam Power and Stake.
I have no idea. That's what I need help with.
I mean, like Steam Power works that way, right, Fuzzy?
Well, this is, I think, it's getting into the idea of decentralized communities, right? Which Steemit is only one, right? One of the things that we get into a lot with Lightmaster created something called the Mutual Aid Society concept. And that's really the roots of Steem as a blockchain. And what he learned was with BitShares, they intentionally made BitShares very decentralized in terms of like, there's 3 branches of governance and all that good stuff, right? But in Steem, they made it so you can lock away your tokens to be able to distribute stake in the network. And that was kind of the beginnings of the Mutual Aid Society concept. And most people think of Steem as a blogging platform. That's why you actually see me using it differently, is because I come from the school of thought of mutual aid societies with this stuff. So I see the possibility and the potential to create chains that offer these types of things. But it's also, it's an iterative process, and it does require, people to join, and it's not an easy nut to crack. As you can see, we've been doing this for a long time, and we're just starting to get to the point where, Compound's doing what he's doing, and it's not something that I would urge people against, but I would also say the easiest ways that I've figured out is to leverage these kinds of tools. Like maybe building a chain is something that would be worth it, but it also requires a lot of resources too.
Fair disclosure, this is a blockchain idea from a while ago, but as you're saying, it takes a lot of resources to make your own blockchain, and especially in today's market. And I truly do not believe that this concept needs its own transaction ledger. Tokens might be perfect for it.
Well, that's what tokenification is a transaction ledger, right?
It operates on a blockchain, right? As I understand. That's different than the token. So like Ethereum tokens operate on the Ethereum transaction ledger, and the token is just the contract part of it.
Yes, okay, I see what you're saying. Well, maybe that's something that you should be looking into, looking at EOS and BitShares as potential candidates for this.
Absolutely.
That's what I would consider. But of course, even with that, tools is all I can say, buddy. That's as helpful as I can be at present, because obviously I'm still doing the same things in many ways. and I've been doing it for so it's a very interesting topic, and it's a very big one, and you just passed up the 15-minute mark. However, I do want to continue this in the after party, because these are the types of things that I bang my head against, but at the same time, people are self-identifying themselves here. Like, for instance, Nutella and the group of people here who are doing things with the translation and the transcriptions. So you have these value propositions that I see people bringing in all the time. That's why I'm trying to get people to create coins that would be within a network. And we can talk about how I see that going. And of course, I'm not writing it out as though it's all finalized right now, because I like to remain a little bit fluid about these things, because I know that every decision I make, even if I think it's fucking brilliant, it's going to bite me in the butt some point in time. So I've got to be smart about it. So with that said, how do people reach out to you guys?
So you can find me on Steemit at jringo, or you can email me jringo303@gmail.com. And anyone who wants to help, anyone who wants to get on a show, I mean, I hope to get the first show made. You know, the plan says 3 months for at least 2 shows. So if you have something you want to talk about, please reach out.
Well, maybe you could consider, just off the topic, real quick, in between, before we start the next one here, consider reaching out to the people who are here, who only get 15-minute slot, and asking them if they would like to have their own hangout or their own things.
Can't wait for the after party.
Yeah, we'll talk. And now, with that said, thank you everybody for joining up this week. And we have one more who's going to be talking, is Eastmail, and he's going to be talking about teaching children about finance using Steemit. So I'll go ahead and I'll step back from the podium and let you step up and get started.
Okay. So basically, I wanted to join this Whaletank just to start communicating with the community. So yeah, pardon the nervousness on my side. So anyway, what I want to talk about is about teaching my kids about finances. So basically, just a brief background. I think that was one of the skills that I think I was not educated when in school or even at home. So as a consequence for that, I had to find things, learn the ropes as I grew up. So right now I'm married and I have 3 kids. So I want to teach them as early as now on how to manage their money. Not just manage, but put it into use and maybe grow it. So I've come across some sites before, but that somehow uses some play money. But I think it lacked that emotional connection with when it comes to real money. So I think that's where Steemit comes in. I'm also planning, I'm still in the starting phase. So what's this? I just want to start small. So I'll start with my kids and then and just see it out if it's effective, and maybe somehow share that with okay, I'll share that. So basically that's where I'm coming from. I want to start small. I want to start with of course with the smallest unit that I can share with which is basically my family, my children, my wife, and then go forward from there. So basically the system or the thing that come to mind when on how to teach them this is basically, I think for every father it comes a time that their children comes to them and asks for money to buy things, right? So what I want to introduce here is for the kids, not just to get them immediately. So I want them to ponder first before buying, and then and from there, once they've done their thinking, work for the stuff that they want to purchase. And so basically, that's where Steemit or tokens come in. What comes to mind right now is, for example, they have something they want to buy. I'll have them work, for example, making a post or doing some house chores and then making a post about it here in Steemit. So that's the one thing that comes to mind. Maybe along the way, some other things will come to mind. And then from those efforts, that's where Steemit or some tokens come in. And basically, it's not just them that's who work for it. And it also becomes a bonding between parents and child, wherein we both work together to generate the funds for the things that they want to purchase, and then move forward from there on. So that's another objective of doing this, is to have bonding between parent and child. And then maybe later, that's where, if it goes well, that's where plan maybe to create some user issued asset. So that's where Official Fuzzy's comment a while ago of creating some tools. So what came to mind when he mentioned that was to create some site wherein those tokens will be exchanged for children doing their homework, doing some house chores and something like that, and some other things that could earn them some reward. So yeah, basically those that summarizes my idea, and to get some feedback on that idea. So thanks.
I really liked it. I mean, I've been thinking about this too, teaching kids with crypto, and I only think that they need something tangible in their hands, with which they can buy something. So I wrote, like, maybe you can print it on paper and then make a picture of it and you have money or something like that. But I don't want to spam the thing.
There's something called paper wallets, and I don't know if everybody here is familiar with the term. I'm sure some of you are. But for those who don't know what a paper wallet is, all it really is a piece of paper that generally doesn't have a key. It has like a scannable barcode, and it's one of the new barcodes generally. It's not the old school barcodes that are just the lines of different widths and spaces between them. But it's actually one of the newer QR codes generally, and you can actually scan them with a phone and load that onto a wallet on your phone. Or, scan your scam here. No, well, yes, I'm sure that there are tokens out there that could be potentially considered a scam if you just create paper wallets for something that doesn't really have a whole lot of value up front. But also, it's worth it to consider the fact that partially getting that network effect is the value, because the people themselves are valuable. So you can distribute those tokens you could actually have, let's call it homework bucks. And parents give homework bucks to their kids, and you can send a stack of them out every month, and they're worth upvotes from Steam whales, or they're worth, other things that, access to other tools and ecosystems, or, all kinds of things could be potentially what you want to do with it. Like, you can get sponsors from other cryptocurrencies potentially, where they can, use these to redeem them for any of 10 different cryptocurrency sponsors. And now you're taking and advertising for 10 different cryptocurrencies to children who do their homework and will most likely statistically be able to bring more to the plate as far as being doers and getting things done and being rewarded for it behaviorally over time. They would grow up most likely to continue being doers. And if we could leverage that type of stuff and incentivization structures like that, you might be able to find some very real value there. But tools. But that exists currently right now. Xerox has a paper wallet generation tool for BitShares and BitShares-based tokens. And that exists today.
So can you can make a QR code, and but then you don't know if it's still valid, right? Because once you scan it, it's taken.
That is, to my understanding, that is the case. You would put it in your wallet, and once you transfer it there, it's pretty much the way it is like you transferred it, it's yours. You've transferred it to another wallet, essentially. Like that. The way it works is, if I give you one paper BeyondBit, that's on a wallet address that's essentially assigned to that sheet of paper. And then whenever you transfer it from that, now the wallet no longer holding it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, right. So I really like the homework idea as well. And for me, I was looked like, because our little daughter, she got money and then she was buying all kinds of sweets and crap, which I really didn't want. So I was hoping that Eastman had maybe some more ideas that how he would like to implement it these virtual currencies or yeah, how they learn?
Those are the things that I still have to identify. I mean, which task will I be rewarding? But the first thing that came to mind was the house chores, and then yeah, it's still on the experimental stage. So the first thing that I have to do is, of course, to have the kids join Steemit. Actually, they're no longer. They're still kids around 13 and 16. So, and then I'll just provide updates on what happens every week. So I just update the group on the progress, I guess.
So what I wonder is if you like your kids to blog about their chores, it's all in the open, so they cannot say, oh, those chores are very bad or something like that. So I'm not sure how you can incentivize them to be honest, maybe.
Yeah. Basically, what I want to inculcate in them is they start initiate the house chores, because right now, from what I've observed, they are always on the phone. So there are things that for me, that should have been intuitive for them to do on their own, but because of perhaps of Facebook or something else, they've taken those house chores for granted. So maybe they're depending on that some will do it anyway. So what I want to inculcate for them to look for things to do, and then I reward them for that, and then eventually, when it becomes a habit, or make it random, so the behavior sticks with them. But even if you take the reward out, the incentive out, they'll do it. So yeah, I think that's the long-term plan for that. Yeah, depending on the difficulty of the chore, clean the toilet. Yeah.
Okay, I'm muted because of the way that was right there. Okay, clean the toilet, and then it sounds like it's quite funny. I won't lie, but just to get on topic here, since you're talking about something serious, I was saying in here, didn't say it out loud, obviously, so I'm going to just really quickly explain it. In BitShares, you have the potential to have multi-sig partners, so you could actually have a token that multiple parents join up and they're part of it, and it's a community. Like, you could even have like the chores forums, and the parents who sign up are members of it, and they all have like a committee of like, and you could actually say that parents can pass out tokens to their kids, but then say, hey, you know what, you didn't do a very good job. We're going to submit this to the parent chore committee, and they might revoke the tokens I gave you because you didn't do a good job, and they might put it up there saying that this is the worst done, So now the kids who want to be part of that, yeah, the chore MIDI, that's a good one. That's a very good one. And have it where, you could actually have it where you get sponsors even from, kids are a demographic, right? And parents are a demographic who cares about products that their kids will use. So you could go out and work with people who make products that you think that your kids should use, as opposed to other ones, and give the ability to maybe buy some of these things with their tokens, and then you advertise that stuff. I just see a very real potential. I remember personally when I was a little kid, I would go to school and they would give us catalogs, and they'd be like, hey, a 8-year-old, go sell things to people who probably don't really want you to show
I love
up,
those. The book club or whatever.
Yeah.
Scholastic,
and you would get
or whatever.
points, right? You would get points. Like, they were already thinking about gamification in schools at that point. Like, this stuff is not new, right? We can leverage these things and just utilize the token systems that we have. And these things were all built into BitShares. I urge you to try to find other places that have these things, because I don't think that they exist anywhere else. I really don't. Unless there's maybe a clone of BitShares out there. This stuff is all inherent in BitShares technology, and why you can make these tokens in the way that you can make them directly on the platform is amazing. But anyway, with that said, the time has ended for today's Hangout. And I do want to say, before I move to close this off, is there any way that people can reach out to you if they would like to work with you in any way, shape, or form on this? Okay, it is Eastmail, and I'm going to spell it EASTMAELS @gmail.com. Yeah, so thank you very much for joining up, everyone. And I look forward to seeing you next week, and I'm sure those who are here look forward to doing this as we always do every week, because they're all completely crypto nerds and are outliers in the world. So I'm glad that we can bring all the outliers into a place where they feel like they're not weird. And look forward to continuing to help you guys out, and I look forward to seeing how you help each other. See you guys next week.
You've been listening to the Beyond Bitcoin Whaletank. As a reminder, be sure to follow the Beyond Bitcoin tag on Steemit, as well as our Hangout host Official Fuzzy for the latest Whaletank updates. From all of us here at the Beyond Bitcoin Whaletank, we want to thank you for being a part of the discussion.